Yo, what's up, guys, and welcome back to Marvelous Chats. My name is Finto.
And I am Kyle Crunk, and we are talking Titans. This week we have episode 6, Lady Vic. Finto?
Kyle, I gotta be very honest right off the bat with you, dude. This was the worst episode of Titans potentially in the history of the show. I just, sorry, actually no. The end of season 2 was probably the lowest rated episode out there, but
Yeah.
this episode there was so much about this episode that made me angry watching it, and just so many kind of like what the fuck moments that I was just like, ugh, I can't make any sense of it. Like, even just
Yeah.
off the bat, like, you get to see, we're looking into the Barbara origin story, and when the episode started and I started to see like a kind of Barbara flashback, I was like, oh my god, this might be amazing. I was thinking that we were going to get to see Batgirl and stuff like that. I was like, holy shit, this episode might be
Yeah.
fire. And then it's like you see her and she's like robbing places. I'm like, are they mashing up the Barbara and Catwoman like characters into one character? I'm like, what the hell is going on? She's even got the goggles. Like when I saw the goggles, I was like, oh my god, it's a Catwoman episode. I was like, epic. And then it turns out it's Barbara. I was like, what the
And like
hell?
the weirdest part too is like, why are you doing this? My dad thinks my dad's security's pretty lack. I just like to test them. And it's
Yeah,
like, first of all, your dad's the commissioner. He wouldn't be in charge of the security for the fucking museum. The museum would be in charge of the security for the museum.
exactly, bro.
Like,
I'm
what
like,
kind of weird daddy issues are you trying to put on this character at this point? Like,
crazy, bro. Like
yeah,
I hated it. I saw the goggles and I was so excited. I was like, oh my god, it's going to be a Catwoman episode. This is going to be great. Then you see Dick coming down, and straight away I was like, Dick doesn't really interact with Catwoman. So I'm like, what's going on here? I'm like, this is very different already. And then we find out it's Barbara, and I'm like, oh no. And then they start having this kind of messed up relationship where they're like chasing thrill buzzes and they're robbing places together. And I'm like, this isn't Dick Grayson. Like, I'm like, what? Dick Grayson wouldn't be like
yeah,
doing like petty robberies and stuff like that. I was like, this is
more like a
outrageous.
Jason Todd type
Yeah,
thing.
like
Well, at least the Jason Todd that they're portraying in this show.
yeah, just like, I don't know, it's just not something that like that Dick would really do. And I know
Yeah,
like when people are young, they do stupid shit, and when there's girls involved, you do stupider shit. We've all been young, we all know what that's like. But at the same time, you don't like break your ideals. Like, he's a superhero. Like, you don't like just turn your back on everything that you've been raised on just to kind of impress a girl who's the commissioner's daughter. It just didn't
yeah.
make any sense to me. So from the get go in this episode, I was just really disappointed with the direction that they were taking it. I don't know how this passed a writer's room. I don't know how it got into production. I'm like, this is just like,
It's got so many weird things. The end of the series of robberies that you're talking about, we meet the title state character, Lady Vic, who's this like other robber who's they're her and this her and her husband, I guess, are trying to do the same robbery that
yeah,
Barbara and Vic were doing. And they make it so like weird decisions where like she slashes the back of her knee, so it's almost for a second like you're like, wait, is that what causes? And you're like, no, they've
yeah,
already explained her injury was actually from the Joker, so that's not what caused it. And then the robberies lead to them somehow killing this the chick's husband or whatever, and that's kind of where the end of the flashback leads. So they establish this grudge for this one random character.
yeah. Just to speak on Lady Vic for a bit as well. Like when she first came into the episode, I watched the episode not realizing what the name of it was, so I kind of didn't know who the character was. I thought maybe this might be a portrayal of like Harley Quinn or something to begin with.
Yeah,
I did like the scene where she went into the operating room and started slicing up people. I thought that was really cool.
it was
Um,
pretty savage.
yeah, it was savage. Like, and then like Crane and Jason are just sitting out, just like watching. It's like, oh, this is a new version of the Tux, and look at the work. Like, look at what it can do, and it's just yeah, that was a really
It lets
cool scene.
Jason know he's kind of replaceable. It's
Exactly.
kind of we've had this weird power struggle once Jason rescued Crane, where it's like Jason's this badass and he's got these guns, so it's like why wouldn't he be in charge over Crane? And they kind of quell that very quick by being like, yeah, you're replaceable. I've got another female assassin out there, you know.
Yeah, dude. Part of the episode that I like, again, there wasn't a lot in this episode that I did enjoy. One thing that I did actually enjoy was we got another glimpse at Gar becoming. There was a scene where he got angry, and you see he
Yeah,
actually like morphs into Beast Boy, and like he's got the kind of the beastly voice, and I think he screams at Dick for something, and then like switches straight back. But I thought that was really cool. I liked the way they
I
shot
love
that.
that.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
Um,
they try to make this weird. They have this. The B story of this episode seemed to be that like Dick only is single-mindedly caring about chasing down Jason, and he's not necessarily putting. They're mad at him for not paying attention to the B story from like the past two episodes with Blackfire and Starfire, and they're like, "You're not paying attention to what we're doing over here." And you know what? I hate to be that guy, but I don't blame him. The B story going on, Blackfire and all this stuff, like don't waste your time paying attention to it, Dick. You're doing yourself a favor. Keep
exactly.
doing you, bro.
Exactly. And then to make things even worse, it looks like they're gearing up for a Blackfire and Connor romance as well. So I'm just like,
Ugh.
ugh. I'm like, bro, come on. I just like, we don't care.
Yeah, she like tries to be like this
Connor's
weird.
Connor's
There's a knife at him and he catches it, like just being innocent. They're trying to have
yeah.
this weird like she's a bad mean asshole and he's just this innocent guy and he doesn't really get it.
He's like 6 months old. So it's
yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like it's like I don't think he has interest in women like or anything like
he's
that,
he's half Lex Luthor, so if he uses half of that IQ, he'll stay away.
Yeah, hopefully. But again, I don't see that going down a path that we're going to enjoy for the second half of the season, to be honest. Again, no Raven. We're
No,
like,
dude, we're six
where's Raven?
episodes. We're over halfway through this season, and no Raven, and they have shown her from the. This is something that I'm gonna harp on. Just is the industry in general at this point.
Yeah,
Whoever is in charge of trailers in the industry doesn't freaking understand what we as consumers want from a trailer.
Yeah.
I don't want to see in a trailer before the season even comes out these badass images of Raven, who is arguably one of my favorite characters, if not my favorite, top
Yeah.
two at least.
yeah,
You know, and now we're over halfway through the season, and I haven't seen one freaking frame of her. I've heard her name mentioned maybe twice. Like, I'm getting frustrated about it.
yeah.
You know,
I don't blame you.
she still isn't even Raven technically. That's the one thing that like we've known her as Rachel this entire 2 seasons, 3 seasons. We've known her as Rachel. They've not really called her Raven yet, and like that's one of my biggest investments in this show has been like the thing I didn't get as a kid, which was seeing her origin story. I want to see this transition into Raven, and
Yeah, absolutely.
going into other things I don't like about this episode, we at the end of episode 4, Dick got shot by a sniper on Barbara's behest. He meets up with Barbara in this, and they literally, their first interaction after seeing each other from her choosing to like make him shot is like a joking jest, like, haha, how you doing? How's it feel? Oh, it kind of hurts, but I'm chill. Like, they're literally just over it, and like, it just doesn't, it's, I don't want to go too much into it because I'll go on a rant, but it's frustrating to say the least.
Yeah, and again, it kind of harps on from previous episodes. The two of them are just very open about having conversations about the Bat family in the middle of the fucking police station, and it's like, the scream, "Oh, how's your shoulder? Can't believe we shot you instead of the Red Hood." Like, it's like.
It's like the cops knew they shot
Nightwing. Like, it's like, do secret identities mean nothing in this universe? Like, it's just crazy, bro. I just don't understand it at all. But hey, I don't know. Like, again, I need to see more. I want to see more. I'm definitely like this. For me, I would rate this episode like super low. Not even actually. Sorry, I didn't even mention the part of the episode that I hated the most. When Dick sat down to do that kind of meditation. Do you remember? And he gets Gar to reenact the Lady Vic
I had
scenes.
forgot about that too. Yeah, and they literally, the dude has the ears of what the dude through audio can detect.
Everything.
The sword movement, swing the sword this way. That's the way. That's
she was facing northwest and all this stuff.
And they have it like they have like the shittiest. Like at least give it better audio quality.
I know. It's like
that, if that's what you're trying to do. It's like the most garbled.
No,
I thought you were gonna say. See, I completely forgot about that because the worst part of this episode for me was wheelchair fight scene, bro.
Sorry, I had that down in my notes as well. The wheelchair fight scene was pathetic, dude. Like, she's just rolling backwards and she's blocking everything. And then I love at the end
where she goes, she's still got some feist in her. She's in a
I
wheelchair. Go behind her, bro. That's like, what do you mean? All you have to do is walk behind her and you win this fight. Like, what do you mean?
So bad, bro. bro. So bad. Like, I
Oh my
honestly,
goodness, bro.
I don't know how that one passed like production. Like, I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, that was fucking pathetic, dude. So like, I pray that this is the worst
She, like
episode of the
pulls these two
season.
like sticks out of the wheelchair too, and that's what she's fighting with. And she's getting like, they try
And
to make it
she,
like she gets knocked back, and instead of knocked back, she just rolls back a little
yeah,
bit, bro.
bro, I completely
It was
forgot it. I need to rewatch it, but it looks like she takes the. It looks like they're kind of like replacing her leg. It nearly looked like they were like in this place where her like missing leg is. So
yeah,
she kind of whips them out. I need to rewatch it and just see though, because I'm like, because you know the way it looks like she's always crossing her legs. I
oh
wonder,
yeah.
does she only have one leg, but her leg, it looks like they're being crossed, but she's actually just crossing over the battens, if that makes
Yeah,
sense. So like, I need to rewatch it just to see exactly where they come from. But yeah, that scene was absolute
I'd be
bullshit.
remiss if I didn't let you talk about this because I know you know more about it. They bring up the one thing I will say I did like about this episode. They're trying to figure out what's going on, who's what, and Dick looks at her and goes, "Oracle."
Yeah. So
What do you think
yeah,
about all that?
yeah. I think I presumed when we were getting a story about Barbara in the chair, I presumed we were going to get Oracle. It just seemed to make the most sense. You know, if you've played the Gotham games, like the Arkham games, you'll know the Batman's psychic in it is Oracle, who is Barbara in the chair after she gets paralyzed by the Joker. So that's I would presume that yeah, she's gonna pick up the mantle of Oracle again.
That Oracle tech that she was accessing, is that like her Batman Oracle tech right there when she was like boop
I,
boop boop?
I think the Oracle tech is. Do you remember in like the Dark Knight? Do you remember when at the end of the movie where he, or sorry, I can't remember if it's Dark Knight or not. I think it's Dark Knight when he has the tech that basically can hack into every single phone and track people down.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're referring to. I think it's
Okay.
the same tech, and she was kind of like, "Oh, I don't want to turn it on again
Is
because
that
it's an invasion of privacy and so on." I think that's what they're referencing.
is that
Um,
what gave them the audio file that they used for the other stupid scene?
I think so. I think so.
Okay.
I think that's what they're getting at. Again, I don't know. I was so annoyed watching this episode. I don't really care what was going on. I pray that this is the worst season. I pray that we have a laugh about it at the end of the season. That this was the worst one. But for
And
me, solid 5 out of 10. I thought this was just awful, and I pray that there's nothing that matches this episode again for the rest of the season.
I rate this episode wheelchair fight scene out of 10.
Yeah.
Um, I will say that we did mention a couple episodes ago. Like, I really hope Blackfire is going to be this new shoe-in tag along, and it seems like so far that's what she's doing.
Yeah.
She's tagging along. A really just not good episode. This is like the only thing that makes this a good episode is the fact that it's unintentional comedy. Like, you have the
Yeah.
wheelchair fight scene, you have him sitting there listening to the audio saying, "Swing the sword this way." That's it. And like,
Yeah.
this has been a very roller coaster of a season. One episode you enjoy pretty well. One episode you're like, "What the hell? This is weird." You don't enjoy it. It's just very up and down every other episode for me.
Yeah, yeah. The season as a whole has been kind of started weak, got good. Episodes 4 and 5 started coming up a lot, and then now it's just nosedived. So I'm praying that it kind of comes back around. I think we got a glimpse at. I think there was a dream sequence in episode 5 with Jason where he dreamt about Donna. So she shot something. So I presume she might come back again. I know. Raven's mission is to try and like bring her back to life. So hopefully we get to see her again. I loved her as a
Do you
character.
think
And
that they do that only through Raven, or you think this Lazarus pit gets used again?
yeah, I think we might get another Lazarus Pit. But again, I don't know what an Amazonian would be like through a Lazarus Pit.
Well, with
Um,
that being said, they could bring back the Joker.
True.
They could treat this show.
Anything could
They're
happen.
really showing that yeah they're willing to do anything. I
True.
guess we'll have to wait until next week's episode and see the direction they take then.
Hell yeah, dude. Guys, if you like the content, make sure to like the video and leave us a comment below. Let us know what you think. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much, guys. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.
Take it easy.